What up, gamers? Lots to cover today as we received a ton of information for Anthem over this past week. From the full Stronghold gameplay video released, to Ask Me Anything About Anthem livestream with Mark and John, to their consistent answering of questions on Twitter. So what's new from Anthem? Well, let's get into it. During the stream, Mark discussed his least asked question on Twitter, sarcasm intended. But yes, you will be able to modify damage numbers when Anthem launches in February. Many within the community, including me, thought the numbers were just in-your-face arcadey, especially during combos, and limited the immersion you felt within the diverse world. So the team created a modifier that allows you to change the size and opacity of the damage numbers you will see when damaging your enemies. Let the immersion commence. Also note that the yellow numbers on screen signify critical hits from your weapon and combos. During the 20-minute gameplay, we were able to see the characteristics of combat with our future javelins and how we can use different abilities to combo against enemies, and yes, it has been confirmed you can solo combo. Mark and John covered examples of this, such as when playing as a ranger you can use the freeze grenade on enemies and then come in with your shock mace and bash them to pieces. Or another example was using the lightning strike in combination with the railgun. There are of course also multiple ways to combo with partnered javelins. We can see the storm freeze enemies and then the Colossus comes in and ground pounds them, and even other combination skills with the lightning and flamethrower. In any case, rest assured you will have a number of diverse combo options when traversing the world of Anthem.
Hang on, something isn't right.
We talked about melee weapons a little bit, but know that each javelin will have their own unique melee weapon at launch. It's confirmed the Ranger will have their shock mace, the Colossus will have their shield and ground pound, and although we don't know much about the Interceptor or Storm just yet, there was subtle hints that they could possibly have swords as a melee weapon and even cloaking abilities within the stream. There were also amazing new ultimates and weapons showcased in the stream, such as the Colossus ultimate that essentially launches nuke at the Swarm Tyrant, and the Pulse Driver the Ranger uses that ricochets across multiple enemies. More to come on this as we get closer to launch. Flight, of course, is the main transportation throughout the world, so it was inevitable that flight combat and maneuverability would come up. The devs stated that each javelin will have their own aerial evasion while high in the sky, such as Ranger's barrel roll or Storm's teleportation that we saw in the gameplay. The Colossus, however, will not be able to evade in the air, but they're essentially tanks, so that should be fine. There are also a number of elemental attacks that we saw within the gameplay, such as lightning, ice, and fire from each of the javelins. From what they insinuated in the stream, the Storm will have a majority of the elemental attacks, which we already discovered from E3. Essentially, the Storm will be the glass cannon of the pack, able to dish out lots of damage while being damaged easily, but they will also have the ability to apply stasis effects on the enemy. In the stream, we learned plenty about gear, loadouts, and a little about crafting system that's being implemented within Anthem. For one, I'm sure you saw the different color drops that enemies left behind once killed during the gameplay. Mark confirmed that there would be different tier levels of gear and they will be color-coded. There will be common, which will show as white. Uncommon, no color from what we've seen yet. Epic will be purple. Legendary gold, and the top tier will be called Masterwork. They haven't officially locked down the name for Masterwork yet, so this could change by launch. And to answer your question on what are those blue and red pickups on the ground within the trailer, well, those are your ammo and health pickups. I don't mind the ammo pickups, but I'll have to play the game first before stating an opinion on the health pickups and whether it fits with the game style or not. And if you happen to miss a piece of gear out in the world, don't worry, as they will have a similar system to Destiny, such as the Postmaster, where you'll be able to acquire your lost gear. Progression, as we discussed in my earlier video, will be through your Freelancer skill tree system, which overlooks the skills of all javelins. The devs describe your javelin capabilities or playstyle will be incorporated through your gear and loadouts. So for instance, you can play as a Colossus, but depending on your gear you can set yourself up for range combat or up close and personal. Examples of this would be the railgun and rocket mortar are more for distance play, and the fire mortar and the flamethrower are close combat options. The devs wanted to ensure that you can manipulate your playstyle no matter what javelin you're in, although each will have their own specialties. If you're worried about remembering all your different loadouts of gear, the devs got you. It's been confirmed that Anthem will have loadouts for each javelin. How many you're able to save is still up for discussion within the team, so we will see what they come up with on the initial beta launches. Last, weapons and gear are confirmed to have random rolls with different perks and stats, so there will be rolls on different loot that we will likely be chasing. Crafting has also been confirmed within the world of Anthem, so you will be collecting different nodes, as Mark called them, including those from plants across the world. So in the gameplay they released showcases a group event the devs called Strongholds, and although the team in the gameplay make it look easy, be skeptical as the team has over 100 hours of experience in the game already, and it was modified to be more cinematic for the gameplay trailer. Strongholds are meant for a full team of 4 players, but the devs stated that there should be little need for coordination and communication as each player should clearly understand the objectives as they come forth. Although many have compared these to dungeons, the devs stated that they are a combination of inside and outside, and there are multiple ways to take on the encounters. Strongholds are considered elder game content, the wording they use for in-game content, and will be about 30 to 40 minute experience depending upon the team dynamic and skill. The stronghold that we saw in the demo pertains to a boss enemy named the Swarm Tyrant, responsible for creating a horrible weapon the freelancers have been sent to shut down. Mark also stated that you will be able to up the difficulty of this content for greater challenge and more rewards. A sliver of the map was also released from the gameplay. As the Colossus Javelin opens up the map, we can see a portion of the map displayed, and where the team chooses the stronghold location. Mark stated that this was just a small piece of the map. To clarify, he said that the map contains 10 subregions, and within the demo they maybe cross one of those subregions. Something to also consider is that the map doesn't just go across the x-axis. From the demo you can experience the immense verticality of this world not only in the air but underwater as well. So we can imagine that there will be much to explore and free roam within this world. I'm rather anxious to go explore what they are calling the Legion of Dawn, who they previously talked about at E3. I'm sure there's tons of lore to be discovered there. Speaking of lore, we can see the Colossus discover a collectible within the gameplay. John described this particular lore collectible as an ancient Arcanist resonance. These will provide information on the history of the world within Anthem. The devs also confirmed fast travel checkpoints that you will physically have to go to before unlocking them on your map. Which takes me into the world itself. As discussed before, we still don't have confirmation on the number of biomes within this world, but given the nature of the Shapers, I'm sure there are some surprises out for us. If you didn't already know, Shaper relics were left over by the gods in this world as they were transforming it and simply just vanished. So think of the Shaper relics left behind as terraforming devices causing chaos upon the world by manipulating the planet in different ways and releasing enemies upon the land. One such enemy is named the Ash Titan that we see fairly close to the beginning of the trailer, which the devs stated is part of an open world public event of Anthem. You can have multiple javelins come out to this part of the world and take on this Titan and triumph as one. Yes, I had to throw in the slogan. They didn't say much about public event balancing, but the game will be scaled and balanced based on the party size, but the majority of the content is scaled for 4 players. Remember that the world is reactive to its environment, meaning that elemental abilities will have different effects depending on whether it's day or night, and even during the dynamic weather changes that take place. Also, keep in mind that day and night cycles are faster than the real world, so you'll see multiple day and night cycles during your gameplay. Now I'm going to get mathematical here with you, so take this with a grain of salt because I could be completely off. But looking at the gameplay, they start the mission with the sun about 30 degrees up from the visible horizon. So given the gameplay is a little cut, it seems to take about 4 to 5 minutes for the sun to go down as it's night when they get to the relic. So given 360 degree rotation, divide that by 4 or 5 and you get about 45 to 60 minutes. So I'm willing to bet that the full day and night cycle will take about a full hour to complete. Mark did state for a brief moment that night is longer than the daytime, but we shall see if my theory is correct come launch. Last up, we have the currency system. Again, many in the community are still worried that the game will be pay to win. John reiterated that there will be no loot boxes, no pay to win. As far as we know right now, there are 2 currencies within the game. Sweat currency, currency earned by simply playing the game and doing missions, and premium currency, which is real money. The devs have stated multiple times that you will be able to see what you are purchasing before you are buying it. No blind box purchases, so to speak. So think of the system similar to Fortnite, where you can see what your character will look like before purchasing a cosmetic. And also remember that Mark already stated on Twitter that any cosmetic you buy within the game can also be found while you progress through the game. And that's about it. If you want to check out the full stream and listen to the awesome personalities of John and Mark, I've placed the link in the description below for the full stream. The devs finished the stream by stating that their next coverage will be digging more deeply into the story of Anthem. Can't wait, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then give us a like and subscribe for future gaming content and updates. Let us know down in the comments section what future videos you would like to see for Anthem and any other questions you may have. This is Sir Mav, signing off.